Chapter 14. The contents of the letter implicated Lopez, Darren Monk, and all of A Better Way. In it, Lopez cited orders from Monk to bring Councilwoman Shaw to justice for crimes committed against the people of El Paso, Texas, and provided instructions for Ben to meet up with Naomi White, travel to Houston, and confront Shaw in her home. Naomi would provide an explosive to use, along with an MMD programmed to bypass Shaw's security system. When she finished reading it, Ana swept the document aside and stepped forward. "Carmina Lopez, you are under arrest." "What?" The woman's eyes flashed in alarm, but Ana ignored the protest, grabbed her arm, spun her around, and assembled restraints to bind her wrists. She pushed Lopez out of the small room and back into the office where they found Lisa leaning against a wall, a triumphant smile spread across her face, Reynolds nodding with satisfaction, and Evans standing in a state of shock. Lopez glared at them. "I want a lawyer." Lisa grinned. "Good. You're gonna need one." Ana continued her forward movement, her hand on Lopez's back, guiding her through the room and out into the lobby. She Mirandized her as they went, the others following close behind. When they were out of the building and Lopez had been informed of her rights, the officers took over, escorting her to the nearest transport dock. After they left, Ana raised an eyebrow at Evans. She hadn't spoken since the arrest and the revelation Darren Monk had ordered the assassination. "How are you?" Evans avoided her gaze. "I'm fine." Her voice was uncharacteristically flat and cold. When she didn't say anything else, Ana turned to Reynolds and offered him the evidence bag. "Why don't you two go ahead to the station? Lisa and I should check in with our home office. We'll meet you there." "Sounds good." He took it, slung it over his shoulder, and moved in the same direction the cops had gone. Evans trailed behind him as if pulled along by an invisible rope instead of her own will. After they left, Lisa bit her lower lip. "I think she's facing some harsh realities today." "She is, but in the end, it's better she learns now rather than being pulled in any deeper." "You've got that right." They stepped back into the theater for privacy, and Ana initiated a call to Guerrero and Jada. Guerrero started speaking the moment she answered. "Agent Flynn, I contacted you over an hour ago." Ana realized she'd forgotten about the message she'd received at lunch, but at least was ready with good news. "I'm sorry, Director. We were busy cracking the case." She wished Guerrero could see her smirk. Jada joined the call. When she spoke, her less caustic tone drew a sharp contrast to Guerrero's. "Agents, what updates do you have for us?" "As I just mentioned to Director Guerrero, Agent Williams and I worked with the local detectives and found a hard link between Ben Jacobs and A Better Way. However, she's upset I didn't stop to call her back right away during our investigation, so we're going to talk about that." Lisa stifled a laugh. Guerrero responded with all the ice Ana had expected. "We can discuss that after. Tell us about the case." Ana and Lisa detailed their activity in El Paso, taking turns describing their interrogations of Shannon Jacobs and Carmina Lopez, then finding the letter and its damning content. "This is all in the letter?" Jada sounded pleased, but suspicious. Ana answered, "Yes, it's all spelled out. Simon found it on Lopez's personal data lens. She deleted the file, but he was able to recover it." "Remind me to give Simon a promotion." "Agents, this is promising." Guerrero was as political and careful as ever. "I hope we can turn Lopez on Monk. It doesn't sound like you have direct evidence of his involvement, but a good prosecutor might make it stick." Ana was fairly certain Lopez wouldn't take the fall for this. "Lopez will cut a deal for sure, which should get us a warrant to arrest Monk and gain access to A Better Way's assets. I imagine we'll be able to prove that not only did they plan the attack, but that they created the mods that exploited our weapons." "We need to pray that Monk is stupid enough to leave that kind of damning information lying around." Ana noted Guerrero's resistance to any form of positivity and didn't like what this implied. "I assumed you'd be thrilled we have proof that A Better Way is a terrorist organization. Is something going on we should know about? Only you, Agent Flynn, but that's something better discussed in person. It's too late to come back to Houston tonight, but I expect you to be on the transport car first thing in the morning. When you arrive back in the city, come straight to the agency. Anna glanced at Lisa, who shrugged her confusion. What about Lisa? She'll stay in El Paso until we determine we've gotten everything we need from Lopez. All right, I'll come back alone. She was unsettled at being split up from Lisa. Jada at least found some kind words. Good work, agents. We knew you'd come through. Thank you, Director. After they disconnected, Lisa gave Anna a puzzled look. What in the world was that? Anna frowned. I don't know. It was super weird, right? Yes. Maybe I've worked for Jada too long, but I've never had a boss so unexcited at breaking a major case. Me neither. Why do you think Guerrero wants you back in town? Not for anything good, I imagine. No, I guess not. Anna took a deep breath. Let's head back to the station so we can wrap things up. I'm beginning to think you worked out a deal with Guerrero to get out of the bulk of this. Anna laughed. Between Guerrero and this, I'd choose... Wait, let me think. She sat across from Lisa in the police station conference room, currently serving as their temporary office for the day, looking at all the data recovered from Lopez's devices. They had a lot to sift through. Lisa placed her hands behind her head and leaned back in her chair. Take your time. Our partnership may hinge on your answer. Well, if you put it that way, I'm choosing this, just to do my part. Lisa flung her arm out, pointing to the door. Go! Go now! I don't want your help if it's going to be out of pity. Nope, you're stuck with me, at least for the rest of today. Anna's smile faded. Honestly, though, I'd really like to figure out where Zhao is. She's dangerous, but so far nothing here references her other than the one letter, and that's by her alias. I haven't found anything about her either. They fell into silence, both focusing on the data. After some time, Anna pulled off her data lens and rubbed her eyes. Lisa noticed, detecting the shift in her mood. Something bothering you? A little bit. What's up? Anna pushed her data lens back over her eyes. When Lopez and I were in the processor room and she told me she didn't know about the deleted vids, I had this moment where I believed her. You still arrested her? Of course, the letter spells out everything, and it's consistent with what the vid back in Houston already showed us. The evidence says she's guilty, but I found her look of confusion convincing. Anna sighed. Oh, still, people lie, and she even has an acting background. I just wish it didn't irk me. Lisa crossed her arms. This is that thing where you can't let something go, isn't it? Maybe. Well, you're like that for a reason. Let's run it down. Anna nodded. If she was actually surprised that the recordings were removed, then someone else did it. But why? What could have been on the recordings of a meetup? Did you find any logs of the deletions? None. The files were just gone. That means either they were never made or the person who deleted them performed a trace identification bypass. It's hard for me to think Lopez is enough of a hacker to pull that off. Anna shook her head. I couldn't do it, that's for sure. Not unless you had a mod for it. Lisa followed this with a smirk, and Anna flashed her a side eye. No comment. Lisa grew serious again. Deleting those files without leaving any evidence behind would require a great deal of skill. Like the person I encountered with Zhao in the data center. It hadn't been a question, but Lisa answered anyway. Yes, like her. Anna put her hand to her chin and started tapping. She imagined Zhao and her companion breaking into the theater to remove the vids. They'd already done it once, and this pattern wasn't lost on her. But why would they? She didn't know. If she went back and poked around, was it possible she might find evidence they'd been there? Lisa eyed her. You're scheming. She stopped her finger's motion. I don't want to drop this. I want to go back to the theater. Tonight? It would have to be because I'm going back to Houston tomorrow. Lisa brightened. I'm in. Let's go. They rose to their feet and were moving toward the conference room doorway when Detective Evans appeared before them. She gave each woman a nervous glance before settling her gaze on Anna. Agent Flynn, can I speak to you for a minute? Anna looked at Lisa, who raised her eyebrows. I'll meet you at the transport dock. I'll see you there. Evans stepped into the room as Lisa passed her. Anna returned to her chair and motioned to the one Lisa had recently vacated. As Evans sat down, Anna tried to put as much warmth into her smile as she could. Hard day? Evans hesitated. Yes, very. Empathy washed over Anna at the weariness in her voice. In the space of a few hours, her faith in a better way had been dismantled brick by brick. Sensing the sensitive nature of the conversation they were about to have, Anna disabled Simon, making a show of it so Evans would notice. Evans' eyes registered the act, and she gave a small nod of thanks. I wanted to talk to you about my experience with A Better Way. As I told you last night, I've been going to meetups for months and even encouraged others to go too. I assume you didn't know about a militia or anything else violent like that. Evans shook her head. No, definitely not. I'm a good cop. I wouldn't be involved with illegal activities. I believe you. And Anna did. Over the past day, she'd learned Evans was nothing if not a true believer with a good heart. The unfortunate truth was that cults targeted people like her. A quick thought of Abigail, the wife of Daniel's college friend, passed through Anna's mind. She was that type, too. Evans lowered her voice, not quite to a whisper, but enough to signal she intended to say something uncomfortable. I know a secret. I didn't think it mattered before, but now I want to make sure someone has all the information. Anna leaned forward, interested. What kind of secret? Something illegal? No. If I'd found out A Better Way was breaking the law, I'd have turned them in. I didn't think they were capable of that until today. Anna thought the letter to Ben Jacobs must have been quite a revelation for Evans. If it isn't illegal, why is it secret? It's their plan for persecution. Anna frowned. Persecution? From whom? They claim from the U.S. government. History is filled with the oppression of those who protest autocrats, legal or not. They're worried Strickland might move against them at some point? Evans shrugged. Strickland is pretty good about letting groups like A Better Way exist. Anna knew this was true. In fact, every U.S. president since Graves had understood that giving a people a place to voice their grievances provides a necessary pressure valve to prevent more drastic behaviors. She had heard a kitchen lecture on the subject multiple times, courtesy of Daniel. Evans continued, But A Better Way is looking further into the future. Strickland's successor may not be so understanding. Or A Better Way could be planning for the strong reaction that follows an assassination. Evans bowed her head as she processed this painful truth. Yes, or that. So what is this plan? There are some rich people who understand and agree with the goals of A Better Way. I don't know their identities, and they keep their affiliations secret, but they own private land. Anna thought rich was an understatement for such people. They existed at the apex of the wealth pyramid. Only a small percentage of the population still owned property. It represented the height of luxury, often requiring political favors to stop the government from turning it over to corporations or annexing it into cities. In fact, Lisa's parents had a place like that, though she didn't like to talk about it. This subject didn't go over well with others in the agency. Anna looked at Evans critically. So, A Better Way, in all their empower the people glory, has access to land? She nodded. And they've been building structures on it. Some people even live there. I'm aware of one location, but there may be more. But if we can't locate Darren Monk, when it comes time to arrest him, that's where he'll be. I see. That's good information. Anna suspected it might also be a good place to look for Zhao. "How did you find out about this?" Evans paused, twisting her hands together with a nervous twitch. "When a Better Way found out I work in law enforcement and have experience with weaponized MMDs, they asked me to escort some people to their commune. It's legal, but they swore me to secrecy anyway. They don't want people to know it exists, much less where it is. I think they usually have other people for that sort of thing, but a few times they asked me. It was easy. Ride a private transport car out of town and make sure nothing happens. They always used mask mods so I wouldn't learn their identities." Anna wondered if a Better Way did recruitment and evaluation this way. If Zhao was any indication, they wanted people who could fight, and maybe they thought a detective like Evans might be someone worth considering for more aggressive purposes, though they'd probably end up realizing she'd resist doing anything violent. "Do you have the coordinates of this place?" Evans answered with a quick motion, sending a document to Anna's data lens. The file contained 2 numbers representing latitude and longitude. "Thank you, Detective Evans. I understand how hard this was for you. I can't imagine what you're going through right now." The detective's answer was so quiet that Anna had to strain to hear it. "I have a lot to figure out." "I'm sorry." But despite these words of sympathy, what Anna felt was anger. The issues Monk and a Better Way purported to care about were real. Many people worried about corporate power, equality, and synthetic food, but Monk wasn't fixing these things. He appealed to them in order to gain followers. He might even believe he was doing the right thing, but he'd never have to face the Evanses of the world, people he had used and then would leave behind when things started to fall apart. Evans drew in a deep breath. "Oh, I hope this is helpful. It feels good to have told someone. But please don't let anyone know it came from me. As I said, I didn't do anything illegal, but if it comes out that I did work for a Better Way, when people learn what they did in Houston, it could cost me my job, or at least make John distrust me." "I understand. I'll be as discreet as I can." "I appreciate that." Anna looked Evans in the eye. "Are you going to be okay?" She blinked and glanced away. "It's too early to tell. A lot happened today." Anna nodded and watched as Evans stood and left, then closed her eyes and pressed her fingers into her temple. A lot had happened, and it wasn't over yet. Anna and Lisa arrived at the theater after nightfall. A full moon and the lights along the path running between the buildings illuminated the grass and amphitheater. The cantina bustled behind them with loud music escaping in sporadic bursts as people opened and closed its patio doors. Lisa appraised the theater. "Did you have a plan for getting in?" "I do, but we need to be careful." Anna had left Simon disabled for the sake of discretion. They held a valid warrant, but she wasn't ready to explain to anyone why they were still poking around. Sometimes loose ends were just loose ends, and she didn't want anything confusing the case against Lopez and a Better Way. She took several steps forward, paused, and then turned to look at the amphitheater. Lisa followed her gaze. "What do you see?" "I'm wondering if some of the meetups could have taken place outside, like when the weather's nice." "If I were them, I would. If you've got it, why not use it?" Lisa scanned the area. She cocked her head and pointed at the bank. "I'll bet the cash machine has a camera." "My thought exactly. I wonder if it's always running." "Who knows? But I'd like to find out." "Me too." Anna changed course and made her way toward the bank, Lisa beside her. They approached the cash machine, and she examined it until she found the camera lens and nodded to it. "There." "I see it." Lisa bent to the side, looking around the machine, then up and down its frame. "I think we're going to have to get inside the bank if we want to access the recordings. I suspect the security will be a lot heavier than the theater, though." Anna grinned and tapped her data lens. "Let me make a call to a certain modder." "Good evening, Anna." "Hey, I've got Lisa here, and we have a problem." breaking and entering? The idea is to avoid the breaking part. I can do that. What are you trying not to break? A bank. Texas Trust. Sounds good. Give me a connection. Anna connected her data lens to the bank's security system and shared it. Lisa looked on, arms crossed. You two do this often? A time or two. It's nice not having to hide it from you. I'm in and have granted you entry. Do you want manipulation privileges? Couldn't hurt. The warrant didn't cover the bank, so right now they couldn't use their MMDs to interact with any objects inside. They didn't know what to expect, so may as well be prepared for anything. Done. Should I stay on the line? I don't think that's necessary. We should be good to go, but I'll call you back if we need your help. Be safe and have fun. Lisa snorted at this and smiled. I'm starting to like her. I think the have fun might have been for your benefit. Naturally. Anna used her data lens to disassemble the door, then stepped through to find herself standing in blackness. She felt Lisa move in beside her. Let's not turn on the lights and draw attention to ourselves. Anna adjusted her data lens for the low lighting, and the room sprang into view. It contained all the typical features of a smaller bank. A teller line running through the length of the room, a large metal door protecting the vault, and 2 glassed-in offices on the inside wall the bank shared with the theater. In the back corner, wedged in between the vault and the offices, a small brown door led to what Anna presumed was the server room. She walked over and disassembled it, finding a room identically laid out to the one in the theater, right down to the single processing unit and accompanying keyboard. She connected her data lens and began poking around the system until she found the controls for the cash machine. Lisa moved in beside her and established her own connection. What do you see? I'm still finding my way around. Anna located the live feed and brought it up to the center of her data lens. It showed the area in front of the bank, the amphitheater prominent in the background. Rewinding the vid a few minutes, she saw Lisa and herself standing outside, and when she let it play, they watched themselves walk up and examine the cash machine. We'll want to get rid of that. Yeah. Anna disabled live recording, went to the vid archive, and removed the footage. Checking out the other vids, she listed them by date. What day were the meetups? Do you recall? Tuesday. That's what Lopez said when she invited us to come and learn more. Anna chuckled. That's right, I remember now. I don't forget snark. Anna started opening files dated on Tuesdays, starting the week before the bombing. After a handful of attempts, she found what she was looking for. There. The vid displayed 40 or 50 people gathered in the amphitheater, seated on the steps. Lopez stood on the stage, speaking behind some kind of portable podium, gesturing with her hands. As Anna studied it, a highlight appeared over a section of the crowd. Lisa had selected it. Look, Ben and Shannon, right there. Studying the recording, she nodded. Yes, that's them. I guess this is what we're after. Her brow creased. No audio, though. I wonder how this is supposed to be useful. Who knows? Let's grab the files and go. We can go over the vids back at the station. Anna shook her head. Not there. I don't want to have to explain where or how we got them. I'll study them on the trip back to Houston. Knock yourself out, then. Less work for me. Anna initiated the transfer, selecting all Tuesday evenings over the past 12 months. Lisa disconnected her data lens and headed back into the main room, moving toward the windows. I want to make sure we're not attracting any prying eyes. She made it halfway across the bank floor before a sudden explosion rocked the room and a burst of light blinded Anna's eyes.